get there. And a nice rush there by Shipman as he comes forward, looking for that takedown, but he needs to set it up.
Nice kick thrown there by Lopez. Checked by Shipman. A large dynamic MMA contingent here tonight. 7 of our 14 fights feature a dynamic fighter tonight, and a big leg kick there from Mykel Shipman.
And right back by Lopez. Lopez is just hitting him here with his toes, though, so it's not going to do much damage. Maybe looks good to the judges. As these guys are feeling each other out, again, Lopez in his amateur debut does look very comfortable, but a great takedown there by Mykel Shipman, waiting for the correct time to shoot and penetrating in. Great job there.
Now just 3-minute rounds here in the amateur fights. The clock came up at a 5-minute round, but just 3-minute rounds here in the amateurs. Our feature of fight.ca clock, and I'm sure we'll get that corrected shortly as Shipman continues to work here on top of Roberto Lopez.
Yeah, and he's keeping busy, which is important. Again, with a 3-minute round, you have a very short time to make an impression on the judges. And right now, with Mykel Shipman being on top, he's making the impression that he's winning the round. Doing a good job pushing his opponent's head up, using that head to push against, and taking away something that we've seen a couple times here in the Hard Knocks cage with a wall walk when your feet are up against. There's the feature fights.ca clock, and we're down to about 1 minute 5 seconds remaining.
Shipman in a dominant position as he has been since securing that takedown. Lopez's ground game really getting tested here in the early going. Doing a good job though so far of limiting damage and not allowing Shipman to move towards that potential submission as well.
Doing a good job keeping both arms in, taking away the jiu-jitsu aspect of Roberto Lopez's game. He needs to remain busy on top, or the official might stand them up, but continuing to dominate in this position.
Couple body shots, but not much damage here landed by Shipman, but of course a dominant position will always win you a round as he continues to work here up against the cage with just 20 seconds to go here in fight number 1.
It's very difficult to do a lot of damage in the amateur fights because you're not allowed to strike to the head on the ground. That being said, however, you are able to make the impression and win by decision, which is, again, this round with the takedown looks like it's going to go to Mykel Shipman.
For Lopez out of the blue corner. Kick thrown, but Lopez wisely gets out of the way.
He's rushing in for that takedown, and he ended up getting it, but ending up in that guard position. He needs to set it up like he did in the first round. He waited until there was a strike, and he ducked under the strike and attacked. That one was more of a desperation. It just happened to work in this point. It doesn't look like he's, at this point, trying to pass. It's more of a lay and pray at this point, or what's called a lay and pray, although it's much more difficult to keep an opponent down than just that. But you look for Mykel Shipman to try and pass here and end up in side control.
Trying to walk him over to the cage too as he tries to get him up against the cage, which may limit his options as far as that goes, but it does put him right in Lopez's corner, right in front of his coaches, and does allow him to walk off the cage, Jeremy.
Yeah, keeping the head against the cage is in good shape, but he's going to have to try and land some strikes here, and he is landing some body strikes, doing some extra work with his chin there, chin to the temple. I don't know what that technique is called. I'll have to check with my jiu-jitsu coaches.
We'll call it the 5 o'clock shadow. But Shipman, again, very solid positioning here on top, working the dominant position, staying busy, but like you mentioned, Jeremy, not doing much in the way of passing or advancing his position, and that may see them eventually get stood up should Len Coivisto decide that not enough's getting done.
Yeah, it's some good work on the ground here, good jiu-jitsu defense, and Roberto Lopez trying to go in, and Mykel Shipman's in a dangerous position right now, and that's just what ends up happening. Good job on Mykel to keep him on his back, but some good jiu-jitsu by Lopez, and Mykel needs to watch out for that.
Lopez looked like he was trying to sneak the triangle up before Shipman backed away from it, before reasserting himself here right in front of us here in the Hard Knocks cage.
Hey, effectively using that head to put some pressure onto Lopez.
45 seconds remaining now in round number 2 as these two amateurs go, and believed for a moment there that the referee was going to stand them up, which is some instructions there on the ground.
I think he was warning him just to keep away from the head. The blows were getting pretty close. They're hitting in the shoulder and in the neck. Got to watch that head. There's no striking to the head in an amateur fight.
And of course, those rules are the rules here in Calgary. If you are a Hard Knocks fan and have seen some of our other fights in other locations, different commissions do have different rules.
Yeah, and he's looking to try and get a submission here. I don't think he's going to end up having enough time with just short time remaining.
10 seconds remaining now in round number 2 as Shipman now moves into side control. A bit of a half guard there, a knee to the body. Again, another solid round for Shipman, smart his technique going forward.
Yeah, I would be surprised if Roberto Lopez didn't come forward here with his hands. And there's a great shot. That's a better attempt, but a good, he's got his head to the outside, ends up in side control, which is what I mentioned earlier. That takes away the guillotine choke, so he can sit there. He needs to watch where he is now and not end up in the guard because his head is still in pretty deep here.
Well, and a nice slam there from Shipman too, taking Lopez down to the ground. After Lopez looked like he might have had the takedown defended up against the cage, Shipman just picked him up and threw him to the ground.
Yeah, good
a nice
strength.
slam there from obviously working his wrestling and his grappling has been Mykel Shipman.
Yeah, and with that lacrosse background, you really learn, because you're constantly being cross-checked and slashed, you do learn how to have a really good center of balance and be very good, strong in your core. And that really showed there when he got in, got stuffed, and was still ended up being able to pick him up and take him down.
A half guard now employed by Lopez. Shipman on top. Maybe I thought he might be trying to isolate the arm for a submission, but it does just at this point look like he's holding on. And now a full guard here for Lopez, and you can see him again trying to throw up a triangle and passing easily on that move with Shipman.
Yeah, and there's a possibility that Shipman was trying to bait him there by giving him what looked to be a position where he would want to attack from. And some interesting things here. We're looking like an attempt at a rubber guard coming up here. He's got it up pretty high and able to pass his Shipman. Very strong.
Yeah, again, Lopez trying for that triangle choke, but unable to secure it down low, and finds himself in a pretty bad spot here with just 1 minute left. He's going to need a miracle, I think, at this point, if he's going to come back and win this fight. I know a fight can end at any moment, but hasn't really threatened with submissions from the bottom, and just been worked over on top from Shipman.
Yeah, and you look, and right there, that was an attempt at a pass and being able to switch him over, and it was good technique. There's nothing wrong with the technique. It's just Shipman is very strong in the base. I wouldn't be surprised if he does have a bit of a wrestling background as well as lacrosse, and he was able to keep a good, solid base and defend against that. Unfortunately, sometimes there's nothing you could do against superior muscles at this point.
Well, and again, Shipman continuing to press the action while in a dominant position. Just 20 seconds left now in this first fight of the night, the first of 10 amateur and 4 professional fights here on the Hard Knocks 22 card. And again, just 10 seconds left now, and this is where we saw, well, and rolling out Lopez, unable to throw strikes to the head. He's awfully high and just got too late as he was trying to throw an arm bar up.